Hey, one more thing before you go. What happens when a man honors his late mother and grandmother by opening a restaurant run entirely by grandmas? That's the incredible true story behind Nonnas, the new Netflix film starring Vince Vaughn, Susan Sarandon, Lorraine Bracco, Talia Shire, and Brenda Vaccaro. And we're going to have a conversation and a review of this brilliant and amazing film. So stay tuned. I'm your host, Michael Horst. I'm here with my lovely wife and co host, Diane,
Hello, happy Sunday.
and our special co host, our youngest daughter, Nicole.
Hi.
Welcome to One More Thing Before You Go over the Teacup Sunday. Hello, Diane. Hello, Nicole.
Hello.
Hi.
You're supposed to answer in an English accent or an Irish accent. Yeah. I have Italian in my family, so you have Italian in
Mhm.
your family,
Nicole.
Nicole.
Yes.
So since we have Italian in our family, we
As you
got to
can
talk about this
see,
movie.
I am not Italian anymore.
I'm, I
Nope,
got very,
not even
very,
a
very little.
yeah.
That's funny. Well, I think this is going to be fun. So let's tell everybody about it in this episode of One More Thing Before You Go. As we said, is Over the Teacup Sunday, and we are going to talk about this heartwarming, inspiring story that brought Nonnas to life. And yeah, I said Nonnas, and Nonnas in Italian is grandmother, grandma, um, mama, mima, mimo, however you want to say grandma. That's your Nonna. And it's
That's
based on the
young Sheldon.
what's that?
That's young Sheldon. That's not
Mima.
Italian.
It's true. It's based on a real life journey of Joe Scaravella, who founded Enoteca Maria. It's a Staten Island restaurant staffed by grandmothers from around the world. Known as is more than just a feel good movie, it's a celebration of family, tradition, and the power of food to bring people together. And we're going to explore stuff like the true story behind Anatico Maria, how Joe Scaravella turned grief into a cultural movement, Vince Vaughn's connection to the film, he actually has one, and why he was drawn to play Scaravella, the incredible cast of the Italian American icons that are bringing the story to life, how food and tradition shape identity, and why grandmothers are the heart of every family kitchen. So, you guys ready?
Yep. Let's go.
I think it's interesting because yeah, as you Nikki, as you know, and of course Diane, you know, I grew up in a very very Italian environment from age 11, you know, and for a good portion of my life, and this movie brought back memories to me. It brought back traditions for me. It brought back the reason that I value the dinner table and the conversation and the food and my love of cooking and sharing food and it just did all that. It's just a movie. I can't. I'm stumbling over my words because I just love this movie.
It was so good. It's everybody must see this movie at least once, but I think we're gonna watch it every Mother's Day. Because we actually did watch it on Mother's Day.
Maybe a few times in between,
Yeah. I
just to
think I think
just to remind us.
I think yes, at least every Mother's Day. This is a Mother's Day movie, I think.
Yeah, I mean the emotional impact of the film itself is why audiences they're laughing, they're crying, they're having homemade food, and Nikki, you remember growing up as you were growing up in. Uh, do you remember Roberto going to Roberto's with Tony and Julia and uh, there's another kid in there somewhere.
Michelle.
Thank you.
Oh my.
Hopefully she doesn't
Well,
watch these.
yeah.
You
As you
remember?
can see, as everyone can see, you kind of hit your head yesterday.
I
You're
did
okay
hit
though.
my head yesterday. Yes, I did.
It's okay though. You're
In fact,
fine.
I hit my head on a pizza oven, of
The
all
pizza
things.
oven of all
So,
things.
yeah, of all
Yeah.
things, yeah.
It's a
Um,
very Italian way to hurt yourself.
the a very Italian, good one, Nick. Good one, Nick.
Hmm.
But you grew up in that environment. You grew up going to their house, and then carried on when we moved here to Arizona, going to your Aunt Mary's house, and having the big tables and having the whole family around and eating and the good food and because Roberto made great food.
Mhm.
And your Aunt Mary makes amazing food, as you know.
So good.
Yes. Yes.
So what I mean, when you saw that movie, did you have any of those memories caught back?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it made me think exactly about going to Aunt Mary's and sitting at the big table with everyone and her making, 3 different entrees and 5 different appetizers and 2 different desserts and having coffee and, just sitting around and talking and laughing and, um,
Hmm.
Food,
yeah, I
food,
definitely miss
family
those days.
fun, food, family fun, and food, family, and love. Actually,
Yeah.
Hmm. Yep.
that's what that is: food, family, and love. Well, in the environment that I grew up in, it also gave me the appreciation, not only for food, family, and love. It gave me the appreciation of art and history and culture, and understanding these cultures and so forth. But this isn't obviously. This is more about Nonnas, but what it did. I mean, I was getting emotional through part of the film
Yeah,
Mhm.
you were. Hmm.
because of
You
some of
definitely were.
yeah, because of some of that was going on. It brought back so many good memories for me. I think
Hmm.
that I still have a little bit of frog in my throat. Everybody, sorry. The I think that it's one of those things where you get to understand from any culture, and we'll talk about that later in the show. How Inoteca Maria has evolved, and not only they do just Italian grandmothers now, they do grandmothers from all over the world, so that you have a cultural experience from all over the world. And it's a real restaurant. They've been open for 15 years, and the guy is real. The story is true. They've taken some creative liberties, but they've done their best to keep everything really true to form for what
Right.
it is. They even shot the movie, and I don't know if you guys know this or not, but they even shot the movie, the restaurant that they shot it in. The I forgot the name of the movie. I mean, name of the restaurant
The
that they
restaurant.
Spirali's, I think.
Spiritos.
Spiritos?
Spiritos.
Yeah.
Yeah, they literally that Spiritos was closed down, and they literally rebuilt that restaurant, from inside out
Hmm.
for the movie. So they kind of
Hmm.
brought that back to life in the movie. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It had been there for in the neighborhood for I don't know how many, what, 50 years or something?
Yeah, 50 years.
Yeah.
And it's like in that kind of a neighborhood. It's in New Jersey, and
Right.
in New York, New Jersey, anywhere, even in the Italian environment, you have graduations and celebrations and birthday parties, and you all go to where you feel comfortable, right? You
Right.
go where it feels good for you, and usually that involves
Mhm.
Yep.
food and family.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
My first Valentine's date with your mom, Nikki, was to an Italian restaurant
Hmm.
where
Oh.
the little Italian woman was probably 4'11", little Italian
Yeah.
grandma. I would put her as a
Yeah.
grandma. Yeah,
Yeah, I
she's
would.
walking us to the table going, "Oh, you're the best looking couple in the whole restaurant." And then as we're settling in, she's walking somebody else in, and she's going, "Oh, you two are the best looking couple in the whole restaurant."
Yeah.
Oh my
'Cause
gosh.
she want to make everybody feel good, right?
Yeah. It was
That's
good.
cute.
It
Yeah,
was good.
and your mother's the very first meal I cooked for your mother on our first date was actually an
Mhm.
Italian meal.
It was.
So,
Yep.
yeah, I'll bring that with me. So, um,
Mhm.
Vince Vaughn, he plays Joe Scaravella, and if you know Vince Vaughn, we love Vince Vaughn,
I do.
and this is kind of a different role for him, don't you think?
Very. Yeah, I was,
Mhm.
well, knowing kind of what the movie was about before we watched it and thinking, Vince Vaughn? Really? Because all I could think of was Bad Monkey, which I
Mhm.
love, 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 love. But I thought, okay, this doesn't sound like Bad Monkey at all. So how is this going to work? He is not the usual Vince Vaughn character in this movie. I
No.
mean,
But it's, like,
he
so good.
he did such a great job. Such a
Yeah.
great job.
He really, I mean, you wouldn't know. I mean, and he was honest and heartwarming, and
Hmm.
and we'll talk about it here in a few minutes. But he when he first read that script, he was like immediately drawn to it because of the everything associated with it, with family and and honor, and the whole. the whole shebang, basically. Vince Vaughn plays Joe Scaravella, the real life founder of Inoteca Maria. Inoteca Maria is his mother's name. He named the restaurant after his mother. It's a Staten Island restaurant. I said New Jersey, but I meant Staten Island. But I think they filmed it in New Jersey.
Mhm.
They filmed it in
Um,
New Jersey.
yeah,
Hmm.
Staten Island restaurant staffed entirely by grandmothers from around the world. He started the restaurant in order to honor his late mother, as we said before, sister and grandmother, all three of them. And you get a lot of that in the movie. You get to understand that, I think. And he created the space where Nonnas could share their family recipes and keep traditions alive. And one of the things that and I think I found this really interesting was the I grew up with Sicilian people from Sicily, Naples, Rome,
Hmm.
Sicily, Naples, and Rome. And I learned to cook all three different ways in Sicily, Naples, and Rome. First job was in two guys from Italy, pizzeria, which they both were from Rome. Well, yeah, they both were from Rome. Giovanni was from Naples. He taught me how to make pizza and
Hmm.
other things, some other things as well. But and to this day, we're all still friends.
Yeah.
But the thing that really uh, got me was watching the everybody fight fight over my recipe's better. This one
Hmm.
from Bologna is better, Sicily's better, Naples is better, Rome is
Yeah.
better, and they're fighting with it so much that we won't give away the whole movie. But what you'll
No,
see is some things in there that cause some other issues that don't really need to be caused.
it's
But
so
that was kind of
funny.
one of my favorite.
Yeah, that is so funny when they and the lady. I mean, old grandmothers fighting with each other
Yeah.
about their recipes. It was, yeah, so
Uh,
cute.
what would you like about it, Nikki?
The whole movie or just the fight scenes?
Well, just no. I mean, anything. Was there anything that stuck out to you? I mean, that was only one of my favorite pieces. What are some of your
Mhm.
favorite?
Um, I mean, I loved the whole thing, but I think it's really great that it's one of those movies that you don't really see very often anymore. A lot of it is um it was just kind of I don't want to say normal, but like it's not an action movie or a rom-com or
Mhm.
um like a drama or fighting or, shooting or gore or something like that. Those are basically all the movies these days, but this one was just so simple and so, like, entertaining and just you sit around and you watch it, you don't wanna stop, but it's just so different from all the other movies, and you just don't see that these days.
I agree
Yeah,
with that. I agree with
do
that.
too.
Your mother and I were saying that the other day. I was looking for a movie, and it's like, don't they do comedies anymore? Don't they really do rom
Mhm.
coms anymore? Everything is a shoot 'em up, kill 'em. How many can I kill in the next 3 minutes? Kind of a
Yeah.
thing, and then move on to the next one. Kind of a
Hmm.
deal. So yeah, I agree with you, Nick. I think that it was nice and refreshing to have a
Yeah.
heartwarming movie that touched
Mhm.
Mhm.
you, that way, and it talked about family and it talked about family, friends, not just family but friends, because you don't have to be blood related to be family.
Right.
Mhm.
And I think
Yeah.
this movie pointed that out as well, is that you
Hmm.
stick with people through thick and thin, and it's got the Joe Montagna. I always pronounce his name wrong.
Manganello.
Manganello, Magic Mike guy.
Right.
Not that
That
I
is his
saw
most
that, I just
notable.
happened to know it.
Right.
Yeah, it's most notable.
um, so yeah, in it, and I think that from that part, I think Vince Vaughn was, from what I read, Vince Vaughn was deeply moved by the story when he read the script, saying that he loved how the film highlights the matriarchs of families, their love for cooking,
Hmm.
and the way food connects people. He also met Scaravella in person, and he praised him as a true artist, admiring his dedication to creating an experience rather than just a business. I think that's what I really liked about that, mostly, is if you go into a true Italian restaurant, I mean, run by Italian Americans, run by that have history in it, what you find and what you see and what you feel is the atmosphere of that. It's not just come in, sit down, you want pasta, you want pizza, you want this, you want that. You get that kind of an atmosphere, which I appreciate.
And in the real Inoteca Maria, the grandmothers not only do the cooking, but they actually serve it as well, don't they?
They serve it and they go out and talk to the customers.
Yeah.
They go out and ask you,
And they
how did you like my meal? Did you, I cooked, this is where it's from. This is who
right.
taught me.
Hmm.
The generations to show it brought down from generations. It's brought down,
Hmm.
and I think, I'm grateful for the environment that I had been in because it taught me basically the value of all of that. In fact,
Hmm.
it's changed the way we eat.
Hmm.
I try to change the way when the kids grow up eating that way. They're still that way.
Yeah.
Caitlin and Cord come here, and they'll go over. We won't mention any names, but they'll go over to
Other
his
other
parents'
relatives,
house,
right?
and then they'll come over here and they go, "Oh God, my dad's got some good clean food."
Well, I
You know,
think they do a lot of going out to eat with the other family.
it's true, but she did
Yes.
make that statement. She said that it
Mhm.
was nice to come back to some good clean food and
Yeah.
Well,
come
when I
back.
come back, I always make sure we sit at the table when we eat because I mean, I don't really get that. I live by myself and I don't even have a kitchen table. So it's nice to be able to sit around and talk to each other and have a meal without like sitting in front of the TV or whatever.
Exactly. And
That's
plus, I mean, and you grew up that way. Try to give that environment as you grew
mm-hmm.
up, and plus you help me cook sometimes. So
Hmm.
Yep.
you help me cook, and I think that's really kind of that's a good thing.
Mhm.
The film follows the Scaravella's journey of grief, transformation, and the creation of the restaurant, which has now become a cultural phenomenon. You know the the um, the the story, and you'll see this when you watch it if you haven't watched it already. And if you have watched it, hopefully this will give you a better appreciation of it. But we've all lost our parents and or somebody within our grandmothers, our parents, in such a way that some of our best memories are food
Mhm.
in families and get-togethers. And as a kid growing up with my grandparents on Nikki, on your grandmother Carol's side,
Hmm.
would be your great grandmother. They had 9 kids, and that when they had kids, and then their kids had kids,
Hmm.
it would be 4 different apartments, all serving food, all with family, and like
Yeah.
a bazillion people. And it was like amazing from
Yeah.
that
Well, Grandma
perspective.
Carol used to host all of the holidays at her house and
Yeah,
had tons of
Mhm.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily Italian food, it was a lot of
She was
yeah,
southern
more
she's
food
Southern
more
and
cooking.
southern
Yeah.
side. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
and, that not as great, but, we also were able to get together and, eat
but
together
it
and
was the thing of being at the table and the family and the
Hmm.
conversation and just being there with them,
Hmm.
that and it is I think it's a cultural, it's embedded within our culture to be able to have that or want that connection and want that opportunity for us to be able to do that. The supporting cast. What did you guys think of the supporting cast? Susan Sarandon,
So good. I was just thinking about them. I don't think anybody could have played those parts better.
yeah, Susan
yeah.
Sarandon, Lorraine Bracco, Talia Shire, Brenda Vaccaro, Joe Magniello. Magnet. I used to
Manganello.
I used to speak Italian.
You still do. Well, a little bit.
Maganiello. Manganiello. Hey,
M.
sorry, Joe.
Just initial it.
Hey, Joe. Joe
Joe
M.
M. Joe
Joe
M.
M. I think they bring this, heartful story to life, in such a
And
way that it shows you that you don't have to be family or blood to be family, that you can.
don't for,
You,
don't forget you forgot one. Drea De Matteo.
Drea De Matteo hasn't been in anything in a little while, so it was nice to see her back in the show. And I almost didn't recognize her, but then I said, "Oh yeah," and there's the hair because she's recognized for
Mhm.
her hair, especially
The
for.
hair. Yeah.
And they're all Italian American, which
Hmm.
I think made it all that much more heartfelt because it,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
didn't know that Susan
They
Sarandon was any Italian.
Susan
Oh, I'm
I
not
Sarandon's
sure
didn't.
about
Irish.
Susan Sarandon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure about her. Is she?
Yeah, Susan Sarandon's mother in that side of the family is Italian.
Yeah.
So Yeah, everybody in here was Italian American. Somewhere along the line, they've got Italian heritage all the way back, which I think it made the movie.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
definitely made it work
Yeah,
the way it should.
not in a Sopranos way,
No,
you
no.
know, in a family traditional way.
In
It
a
was
family, right? The family, right? Not mob, family.
now. What do you guys? At least from we were just talking about food. They oh my mouth was watering every time they started making that stew.
I
Except
know.
except one dish, which
One
for those
dish,
of you that haven't watched this,
don't give it away.
disclaimer: either skip by and come back to it, or we're going to make a spoiler here. The one dish, okay, the sheep's head. No, no, no,
No,
no, no, no, no,
nope.
Well,
no.
there was also
And
like boar cheek or something, pasta.
that was in another one. Another dish had
Yeah,
cold pork cheek.
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
that's nothing more. I mean, you guys eat bacon and you guys eat pork
I
chops
don't
and you
like
yeah.
guys eat.
bacon.
I
That's
like
good that
bacon.
you like bacon. Diane, your
Yeah.
mom loves bacon. But it's kind of one of these things, and that brought memories back to me too, because
Mhm.
we'd sit around this huge table. There'd be like 15 people around this table. Roberto, Giovanni, Sergio, everybody, they all made food, and then they all brought all the food out, and then they just put the food in front of you, and then you go, "What is this?" They go, "Just eat, manja."
Just eat. Don't
They
worry
go,
about it.
"Tell
Just
me
eat.
what this is,"
I couldn't do that.
Don't worry about it.
and
Don't
don't
worry
worry
about it. Just
about it.
eat.
Nope.
And and then they tell me afterwards, it was like, I would never have eaten that. See, that's why we didn't tell you.
Yeah.
But
You
they
didn't know
never
that.
did sheep's head, so I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
But it was nice to get it made my mouth water watching them make these recipes and the pot, the gravy. They call it gravy in New York. It was nice to see them doing these pasta sauces and everything. And see, I'm holding it up to my mouth like I'm
Like you
tasting
want to
it.
eat it.
Yeah, if you watch this movie, make sure you have like a plate of pasta or something in front of you. Maybe
That's a
some
good
bread
idea.
and butter, maybe a glass of wine. You
Hmm.
know, just make sure you're
Bread,
prepared because you're gonna watch it
dip,
and just be just drooling.
bread with all olive oil and herbs. Dipping
Mhm,
some bread in the olive oil and herbs. Yeah, there
mhm.
you go.
Well, and I think that even from this perspective, I think the significance of grandmothers as chefs, preserving the family recipes and traditions, the emotional impact of honoring mothers and grandmothers through food, to me, is, um, I mean, what a better what a better way to share that. I think people are losing that in this day and age with fast food.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know,
Well, not just fast food, but social media.
everything.
People are into their devices all the time. They're not really connecting with each other anymore. So
Yeah,
this showed a way to where friends and family, especially at the end, friends and family, neighborhoods,
yeah.
communities can come together and connect with one another.
Connect with one. Yeah, I agree.
I feel
I,
like we had that in Woodland Park because it was when we lived in Woodland, it's so tiny and everyone kinda knew each other,
Hmm.
and, I used to ride my bike everywhere because it was such a small town, and really the only places you could hang out were, like, the soccer park and your friends' houses and
Hmm.
the movie theater that cost, like, $4 a ticket and showed 2 movies.
Yep.
And then when we moved to Anthem in Arizona, like, it was not that kind of community at all, so I really missed that. Um,
Hmm.
but I'm glad we still had that with Aunt Mary, like, being at her house and having the get-togethers and, like, when each of us had a birthday or something, she would ask us what we wanted her to make for us, like, something special, and I would always ask for her carbonara, which is my favorite thing in the whole world. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, she'd make everything, like, specific for what we wanted, and so we still kinda got that, but yeah, I do wish that we had kind of a community like the one in this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we miss that as well. I think that that's one thing we do miss here when we had to move here. And I've you. I think you are still. Are you still mad we moved here?
Always.
Yeah. That's why she doesn't live in Arizona.
That's why I'm back in Colorado. No,
That's
Oh,
I
right.
mean, I think I'll always be a little mad, but not, like, at you guys, just,
The
Well,
situation.
I mean, the
Situation.
situation. Honestly, the situation is I found doctors down here that really did something better. That I know people were not getting that in Colorado, and the
Still not.
doctors in Colorado had told me, that I would be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life, and the doctors down here said, "Yeah, I can get you out of that." So,
Hmm.
there is a benefit
Of
to the
course.
fact that we did
Yes.
move down here from that
And we
perspective.
got all that time with Aunt Mary and the delicious
Hmm.
Italian get-togethers and
Well, and your cousins too. Julia
yeah, and I
and
got to see my cousins all the time
yeah,
and grow
Julia,
up with them.
Michelle, and Tony. See, I remember Julia, Michelle, and Tony, all three of them.
All
Mhm.
three.
All three. So, but
Yep.
and I think speaking of it, the Italian, I think the Italian, it was an authentic Italian American representation, and its importance in Hollywood because they've been in movies forever. But the majority of when you see them, other than Mystic Pizza, something like Mystic Pizza,
Hmm. It was
what you
similar.
see in the majority of them are mob movies, The Godfather or the
Hmm.
I just said it a minute ago, the
The Sopranos.
The
Sopranos.
Sopranos and
Oh,
Goodfellas and what you typically
Casino.
see, a
Yeah.
casino exactly. You typically see that
Yeah.
representation there, where it's either mob related or tied or that kind of a deal. And here you get
Yeah.
more of this is what Italian representation really kind of
Mhm.
does.
Looks like. Right.
Yeah, they bring warmth and humor and depth to the film's theme. I think. Um, what do you guys think of the role of food and family and culture and how that connects us? I mean, it's
Well,
the,
it does because we all need food.
well,
So,
look,
you know.
what makes me feel good is like when we go to a function over at Mary's house, for example, and all the kids are there, everybody's there, they're
Mhm.
going, then Uncle Mike bring the focaccia,
Right.
this, and then they lean into my ear and say, "Don't tell mom, but this was the belle of the ball," you know,
You
so
better hope she doesn't see this episode or
yeah,
listen to it.
Mary, yeah, that's a secret, Mary. You can't tell
The
anybody.
Italian in her would never agree. She would just be like, "Nah, mm-mm,
No,
We'd
no,
have an
nope."
mm-mm.
argument like they did in the movie.
You'd have, yep, you would.
But yeah,
Territorial.
the role of food and family and culture is really emphasized, as we said earlier. Not to repeat ourselves, but it really, um, I think it really shows how we're connected by generations from that perspective because these are recipes that are passed down, and you'll see that in the movie. This part I won't give away, but you guys will understand it. You'll see that in the movie how the food the recipes are passed down in generations, but not everybody in that generation. There's only certain people that get the recipe cards.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So there are people going, "Can you please tell me what's in that? Can you tell me what the
No.
secret ingredient is?" And they're going, "Nope,
Well,
nope."
well, I think some of them even said, I don't even know the
Right back
secret.
again.
So
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's why it was a secret.
that's why it's a secret. Uh,
Hmm.
and it keeps traditions alive. And I think traditions are a good opportunity for us to keep that momentum going with everything, especially in today's day and world.
Hmm.
You look
Yeah.
around
Yep.
in this day and time in this world, it is so much chaos, so much hate, so much everything else going on. This gives us an opportunity to really sit back, relax, and really enjoy and remember and think about, what was my favorite? Think about that. Oh, yeah, I loved it when my mom made this, or my dad made that, or my grandma made
Hmm.
this kind of a situation. And,
Yeah, it's a very feel good movie.
yeah.
Highly recommend for today because the world's on fire. Um, I cried more than once, but I laughed my butt off at the same time. It was I don't know. It's a great movie. It's just one of those, like I said, one of those movies. I'm gonna want to watch it every Mother's Day, so or more often. But
I think the symbolism of cooking as an act of love and remembrance is a really good thing that you get from there too. And and I really don't want to give that part away either, but you see it when when they have a flashback and you see he as a child. You see the
Mhm.
Vince Vaughn character as a child,
Mhm.
and he's talking to his grandmother and he's tasting the sauce, and
Mhm.
you there's something in there that kind
The
of okay.
gravy.
Well, the gravy. But what you
Mhm.
see when what you see what you hear, then you kind of understand. Well, yeah, them cooking is an act of love, and that's what he
Mhm.
brings together when he had this idea for the restaurant. I want to
Yeah.
bring love in. I want people to come here with an experience, not just food, not just a
Right.
restaurant, not just a thing where we come in and have to, get them, get eat and then pay and then leave. You want to walk
Mhm.
away with a memory.
Well, in fact,
Mhm.
didn't he, the real Joe, I think when we saw, I think we saw a clip of, they had this on CBS Sunday Morning,
Yeah,
right? Like a few weeks ago. So I think they said that he still to this day puts his own money. Like it's not like it's a money maker. He's
yeah.
still funding it, even to this
Oh,
day.
Which I'm sure this movie helps.
I
I'm
hope
sure.
so.
And realistically, what you also see is when you watch this movie, don't when it's over, don't fast forward through
No, no, no.
or exit
the
out,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
credits. Really
It
hang out. Honestly,
Hmm.
hang out because there's some things that run through part of the credit, not all the credits,
it's
but
real
you'll know when
clips.
it's end.
Yeah.
That is really what what um, the movie's kind of it's in there. You
It,
just got to watch it.
yeah, it's what's the movie. It's actually what the movie is about, and you have to see it.
And I think the broader
Have
message
to see
of community healing and finding purpose through shared experiences is
it.
the
Mhm.
best thing that I walked away with. What? How about you, Nick?
Um, I think, well, that definitely, and it also just reminded me of, getting together with family and how much I missed you guys, and that, I really wanna come back and have the homemade pasta and focaccia bread, and, um, also that it's another thing added to my bucket list because one day when I do get to go to New York and, Staten Island and all those places, then I definitely wanna go to this
Yeah.
restaurant and be able to
Mhm.
experience it.
Well, and
Absolutely.
I get rich and famous, and your mom gets rich. Then we'll all go. We'll take everybody, and we'll go in and visit all of them, and say, "Hey,
Hmm.
you didn't know this, but we're family."
Yeah.
Uh,
I think what I got from it was if you have a passion for something, then you don't give up. And
Mm.
perseverance will win out and it will make it happen. You just have to believe it will happen.
I agree. I agree. I agree. Um, any last things? Anything, Nicole? Did I miss anything? What do you think is it's more anything out of there that's important that you want to talk about of that movie? Because you love that movie, right?
Of course I love that movie. It's not often I do these episodes with you guys, so I definitely wanted to with this. Um, I think when I immediately stopped watching it, I texted my dad and I was just like, if you guys do an episode on Nonnas, I wanna do it with you."
Yeah, exactly.
And you
Um,
have to watch this movie.
yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. But no, it makes me want, prosciutto wrapped cantaloupe, and it makes me want big giant bowls of pasta, and, um, yeah, it makes me nostalgic and what?
Hmm.
Your dad makes a pretty good homemade pasta.
Yep.
Definitely, yes.
And you,
Very
you
good.
haven't had the gnocchi yet, but next time you come out, you'll have to try the gnocchi.
Yeah, I love gnocchi. Yeah, I think that, it's nostalgic enough for me, like, I'm not obviously full-blooded Italian, and, I didn't have the full Italian experiences that you had when you were a kid, but it definitely reminded me of some of the memories of the past,
Well,
and
yeah,
hopefully, memories of the
yeah.
future.
Well, and I mean, obviously, you got some association with Roberto going to Roberto's house, but you were pretty young
Yeah.
when we went there. Uh, your memories more are of like Mary and
Hmm.
Mhm.
Tim and the everything we had done there, and the rest of that
Yeah.
side of the family. So, and Diane, anything that
I think we failed to mention one character in there, the actress who is awesome in everything she does, and blanking on her name as the actress, but
Oh,
uh,
I'm looking at her face. She was in Dead
Yes,
to Me.
Dead to Me. She's in a lot of things.
Oh my gosh. Linda Cardellini.
Linda Cardellini, thank
Yes,
you.
yes, yes,
So
yes,
I'm
yes,
so
she's
yes.
sorry, Linda, if you're watching this.
Yeah, yeah,
right. Please
yeah.
forgive us because we love you. We love you in everything you're in. And she's probably Italian American.
She was Italian
I believe
Cardellini.
American. Yes, she
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So she was awesome in this as well.
so
yeah.
good.
So I just wanted to give her a shout out.
Oh, my apologies. I should have brought that up in the beginning. You know, I started doing research on all this, and I did not grab her name, and I really should have grabbed her name.
Yeah, she's
So,
great.
darn it.
Mhm.
Either way, my verdict is please, please, please. If you want
Mm,
a really good feel good movie, you wanna
yep.
know food and family and friends and connect with that, connect with memories. You got to watch this movie, Nonnas.
Yes, she did.
It's on
Nonna's.
it's on Netflix, right?
Mhm.
Yes. It's on Netflix and you need to watch it more than once. Watch it, I don't know, a few times a year, every year, whatever. Just watch it.
Prepare yourself with
I'm
food
watching it.
first.
Yep. Yes. Have food because there's a lot of food and you're going to be hungry. So have food and probably wine if that's a thing. That would
Sit
be,
sit down with a plate of pasta,
yeah.
a glass
Yep.
of wine.
Yep.
So
Yep. And enjoy.
there's another special day here, right? Is it related to
Oh,
this?
um, well, it's about family, but it's apparently it's National Take Your Parents to the Playground Day. So
Which
Nikki, get on it.
Um, since you live in Arizona,
Mm,
no.
no, that
You're
would be a
gonna burn
no.
yourself on things, and,
Yep.
I don't wanna take
Um,
responsibility for that.
it's also National Visit Your Relatives Day, so that's kind of family and connected.
I would love to do
Um, yeah, visit your, and we'd love to go see Aunt Mary.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
you should.
Um, yeah, that's about it.
That's it. Well, then one more thing before you all go. Thank you very much for being a part of one more thing before we go. Community. As a reminder, there are some slight changes being made in evolving this experience for you all. So the experience is being evolved in such a way that you'll just notice some subtle changes coming up. So please watch for those and listen for those because it's just there to benefit you all. It's there to bring you more content, better education, more inspiration, more fun, more entertainment, just more, right?
Mhm.
More.
Yep.
So thank you very much for being a part of the community. Thank you very much for everything that you have done to help support us through this. We're closing in on our 500th episode, so I'm grateful for you all being here. And one more thing before you all go, have a great day. Have a great week. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, follow, leave us a review.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of One More Thing Before You Go. Check out our website at beforeyougopodcast.com. You can find us as well as subscribe to the program and rate us on your favorite podcast listening platform.